invitation. We're honored to be here today. There's been a lot of nice, kind words about open compute so far, so I appreciate that. But what I am going to do is kind of restate what OCP is all about, what we are. A little bit about our history, because we are a maturing organization. We're behind Jonathan's team. We're growing, maturing. We're maturing fairly fast. I want to talk you through that, and then focus a little bit on a current OCP initiative, so you kind of get a sense of what's important for us right now, and then a bit about QCT, and we very much appreciate QCT's contributions to date. So we are an industry nonprofit as well. We're really focused on establishing an open source hardware ecosystem for the data center environment. We were founded in 2011 by Facebook, Rackspace, Intel, quickly added Goldman Sachs. Today, we've also added Microsoft, so we appreciate many of the members are here today. We've had increasing contributions, so part of our community has grown well. We now have 52 design contributions accepted from 11 different companies. So we've got 80 more in the pipeline, and that includes both greenfield as well as brownfield. So we're much more than just a 21-inch, or it's also 19-inch. We address not only new facility, but also existing facilities. What I'll talk to you about a little bit is our controlled growth approach. We're not trying to be everything for everybody at one time. Our board establishes the scope for us to focus on, and then the community itself defines the technology solutions. So I'll talk a bit about how that plays out in our history. So as a result of that, today, hyperconverged systems are not a focus for us today. However, we recognize its importance, and we are beginning to touch elements of that around software-defined data centers. So we respect that, and the tight integration of software and hardware. So we're very honored to participate here, and we expect to get more involved with that sometime in the future. Oops. Okay, a little bit about our history, so you got to get a sense of how we've matured. As you probably know from what you've heard today, the initial focus was really focused on Facebook. Facebook drove it. That was a great opportunity for our board member companies to take advantage of technologies they could not otherwise touch, okay, because of the investment required. So it gave them access they couldn't get. However, we've grown the community pretty dramatically, and so today we have 4,000 engineers, over 4,000 engineers involved with 9 different projects in our incubation committee. So as a result of that, innovation has increased pretty dramatically. We focus that innovation on value-added design elements, not just innovation for the sake of innovation, but things that bring value to the designs. And we're proud to be part of the trend to create an open source hardware environment in the industry. Many others have. And as a result of that, there are other open source hardware organizations today, and we're pleased with that. But what we've also learned as we've gone through that is that the physical supply chain constraints brings us some additional challenges that the software folks did not have to deal with. We're having to figure out how to deal with that. So today, what have we done? Over the past year, we've moved beyond hyperscale. We've moved into markets where IT is core to the business, to their business, such as financial, telco, hosting markets, and we've broadened our solutions to begin to address those markets. We've also then increased our focus on adoption ecosystem, creating an adoption ecosystem that addresses some of those intricacies of the physical supply chain to make sure that we can accelerate adoption at the same time we're focused on innovation. So where to go tomorrow? So we're going to increase the emphasis on the integration of software and hardware, which is one of the reasons hyperconverged is so intriguing to us. That's a key element of that. We're going to continue an emphasis on both innovation as well as adoption. What we don't want to do is we don't want to get out of balance there. We want to make sure if we're creating some innovative approaches that we've got an environment that enables industry to use that. And we want to continue an emphasis on growing and retaining a strong community. As I said, we have about 155 members today. That changes almost daily. We're probably over 160 today. We want to make sure we continue to bring value to all of those members. So let me focus a little bit about today's initiatives. One is we're implementing a web portal that really gives visibility to our community of available OCP SKUs and sources, okay, along with AVLs, reference architectures, information that enables our users to take advantage of those technologies. In the past, we had those existed. They were not visible. This helps us accelerate our adoption. We've also implementing a follow-on user validation process within the community, because one of the concepts of OCP has been we're not going to take and validate the product for every potential market. We're going to validate for the first user. Well, this begins to address the second user, third user, and fourth user, and basically takes that information as the second user comes on, tries a different configuration, requires a different configuration, different software stack, that we learn from that, create a library over time that every successive user then can take advantage of. That we believe that brings a much shorter validation process and improved reliability. We're also focused on creation of the ecosystem to support those shared technologies, which is very important. As I said earlier, the intricacies of the physical supply chain brings challenges to us. We have to have a good support ecosystem to make sure as they're shared and used that they can be supported. And finally, we're focused on creating a software ecosystem. And that's consistent with much of what you've heard today. In fact, we're working with many of the partners you've heard from today. We're going to create a network of software partners to help support complete stack solutions. We're really increasing our focus up the stack. And we're we are in the process of creating a test lab network that allows us to, using environments similar to QCT Solution Center today, to be able to test some of those softwares on OCP hardware. So what has QCT done? Quite a bit. We appreciate that, Mike. QCT's been active from the early days. We're currently involved in QCT. QCT is helping us create the first web portal content so that we'll have their AVLs available soon in the next month. They're also working with us to create a support solution similar to their white box solution, support solutions for OCP hardware, which is extremely important for us. That allows us to accelerate our adoption and make sure that's supportable. And lastly, this site itself is a wonderful environment. We're looking to take advantage of it through using community meetings and whatnot in the future. So I want to thank Mike, thank QCT, and we welcome any discussions through the day on if you've got questions about it. So thanks very much.